Hey guys, it's been a while. It is 12:58 in the morning on November 23rd, which is day 23 of NaNoWriMo. Currently, I'm at 17,020 words with NaNoWriMo. This is my slowest NaNoWriMo, probably since the year I started doing Nano, which I think this is year 8 or 9 of NaNoWriMo. And this is my second slow month in a row, which, you know, initially I understood it. Willie's diagnosis for heart failure started at the end of October, I believe, or end of September, somewhere in there. And that I understood the slowness that came around that. And then Bean's babies were born on October 8th, and that slowed things down for a little while. But ever since, I feel like I've just been off the horse and unable to get back on, which has sucked. Writing is a very big part of my career. Editing is a very big part of my career. And I've been unable to bring myself to do much of either. I've been unable to bring myself to do much of anything, truthfully. And I'm hoping that forcing myself to get back into daily videos here and daily filming kind of sparks things again and gets me back on track. For a while, I kind of just was drowning in this feeling that I'd chosen the completely wrong path in my life. And that has drastically affected Nano, it has affected my writing, it has affected the client edits that I'm doing, it has affected every single part of my day at this point. And right now, I thankfully no longer feel like I've chosen the wrong path in life. I wrote a little over 2,000 words yesterday, and that's the first time I've accomplished anything that large scale in a while. And I feel pretty good about it, despite how blurry I am. There you go. And I feel good about it, which is great. And I feel like I'm getting back on the horse, back on track, back on the wagon. Whatever phrase you want to use, I feel like I'm getting there. And I'm hoping that with some pushing, and with some force, and with a little bit of daily vlogging again, that I can maybe still hit 50K. We'll see. If you're new here, normally I aim for at least 60,000 words in a month. I did not hit that last month. I don't remember if I hit it the month before. It's been hit or miss most of this year, and some of last year was a bit of a struggle too. A lot of last year was a bit of a struggle. In between all of the animal stuff and just general anxiety and anything else that I have going on, I'm a chronic pain sufferer, so some days are much easier than others, to say the least. And I've been having a rough go of it lately with the pain scale of things as well. But today I feel good so far. I do have a headache, I normally do, and my fingers are pretty stiff, but we're going to see what we can accomplish. Recently, I've been staying up to about 2:30, 3 o'clock. I changed the time that I take my levothyroxine for my thyroid, so I'll do that in about an hour, and then I go to sleep sometime after that. I'm going to shoot for 2:30 today, but we'll see how things go, and we'll go from there. But I'm going to start my day by editing a Serial Killers Anonymous video, so that way I have a video to hopefully go out later on today around 3 p.m. or so. Depends on the internet. But I'm going to start by editing that, and then afterwards, depending on what time it is, the plan will be to go back and forth between playing Days Gone and working on Murder at the Fang Marina. And when I get around to that, assuming that it happens this morning before bed, I will give you guys a little update on that, and then tell you a little bit more about Murder at the Fang Marina, because I don't think I've talked about it in a video before, and if I have, it wasn't like in depth at all of what it is, so I don't remember when I started it. But I will give you guys an update after I have edited the Serial Killers Anonymous video. and then we'll go from there. Alright, it is 2:05 in the morning. I've just finished editing the Serial Killers Anonymous video, and I've been utterly exhausted for the last half hour, give or take, but I do need to stay awake until the video exports, so that way I can start uploading it to YouTube. We'll most likely lose internet while I'm asleep and while it's uploading, but at least it will have a head start. That's all I can ask for. So I'm going to try and get some writing done on Murder at the Fang Marina while the Serial Killers Anonymous video is exporting, because that's what we're here for. I will do 2 more things here while I have the camera on and while I remember them. First, I will tell you what this book is, and second, I will open up the NaNoWriMo website and find out how many words I would need to write today in order to hit 50,000 words by the end of the month. So, Murder at the Fang Marina is set in the same universe as the rest of my books, minus like 1 or 2. Minus the zombie books and minus the post-apocalyptic snow world that I wrote, more or less. But this is set in the same universe as the majority of my books, to say the least. And in this one, there are 2 main characters, Alani and Alaya. Alani is a vampire forensic analyst, and Alaya is the new detective at the department. He doesn't have a detective partner, so he primarily works with Alani. This is not a key factor in the story, but it is a fact I will tell you about him. Alaya has autism, so I've been doing a lot of research on autism. I don't know what the term that people with autism prefer is, so I'm going to avoid saying it in any possible way that I can, but more or less autism spectrum disorder. It says it in the name. It's a spectrum. Some people have it harder than others in terms of how neurodivergent they are. I know that at some point in time they called people with autism high functioning or low functioning, and as far as I know, for at least a year or so that has been outdated, because it's not used as a term for autism or people with autism. It's used as a way to define them based on a neurotypical baseline and what neurotypicals consider normal and functional. So high functioning and low functioning are the terms I'm not using. They are the terms I am avoiding. But in terms of the scale, Alaya does relatively well with other people. He doesn't understand emotions very well. He has a hard time grasping like sarcasm, humor in certain senses with people that he isn't familiar with, so on and so forth. If you have never ever looked into autism, if you don't know people with autism or anything like that, and you just have stereotypes of things that you have seen on TV or in movies, I do genuinely encourage you to just dig into it even a little bit sometime. Even if you're not a writer, even if you aren't writing a character with autism, any amount of understanding for another human being goes a long way in our world. So that's my pro tip for today. But in Murder at the Fang Marina, this is presumably book 1 of a series if things go well in it. But the main thing is, in this one, they work normal homicides alongside it, but the first homicide that they appear upon or come up upon in this book is very clearly committed by a vampire. And Alani and the 2 other cops in the department who are also vampires don't, you know, murder humans on the fly and snack on them. They have another vampire who owns a farm, more or less. They locally source the animals for blood, and they sometimes do donation drives, basically. But with all of this, Alaya's greatest fascination in life, alongside fashion and crime, is vampires. And he does suspect that Alani is a vampire. She hits a lot of the keynotes of the things he has researched throughout his childhood and early teen years of vampires. She's very, very pale. She's very, very cold. She's primarily out in the dark, not normally seen out and about in the sunlight. And she tends to hide her teeth pretty well. When she's talking, you don't see a lot of this region, for good reason. And eventually, I don't know how it happens, but I do know that eventually he confirms that she's a vampire, and he joins her little tiny team to hunt down the vampire killers and take them out. So it's sort of like a combination of iZombie and Supernatural. Almost. It would be, I wouldn't say it is inspired by either one of them, but I would say, not directly anyway, but I would say that if I had to compare it to two popular mediums that I am aware of, those would be the two that I would choose. I don't know if she can drink blood and see memories or anything like that from who she drinks the blood from, but I do know that she's a forensic analyst, so her job is finding out things about the victim the same way that Liv's job in iZombie is finding out things about the victim. Whether or not there's a psychic aspect, there is still a human working with supernatural / paranormal being aspect. But I'm very excited to work on this one. It's very different than what I normally write. I always enjoy writing these supernatural or paranormal books quite a bit. So it's fun to dive into it in a vampire sense instead of just the angel, Lucifer, Archangel, Reaper sense. It's been fun. I'm not super far into it right now. I am at around 3,700 words, but I have enjoyed what I've written so far. I've primarily written them arriving at the dock where the body is, the marina, and Alaya interviewing the guy who found the body. And that's pretty much all I've written so far. Writing's been really, really slow the past 2 months, all across the board, not just in this book, just everywhere. But I'm hoping that things pick up. I'm hoping that this is one of those books I'm able to actually finish, and I'm hoping it turns into a series, and I'm hoping that things go well. But we'll see. But past that, with NaNoWriMo, as I usually do with Nano, I'm not just working on one book. The book that I started for this month is called Leaves of Grief, which is the first book of an FBI series featuring Thomas Smalls and Chris Cross, which are the FBI agents from Cut to the Kill. Leaves of Grief takes place years before Cut to the Kill. Currently, I would need to write 4,123 words today in order to hit 50,000 words by the end of the month. So we are going to aim for 4,123 words. They will not all be in Murder at the Fang Marina. They will probably not all even be in my books. I might do some untitled mystery scenes. I might, when I do client edits for Gent right now, the extra stuff that I add in my comments, when I, this is the reason that I suggested this, I add those words to my count. Sometimes, depends on my mood. So if I manage to get around to client edits today, I'll probably count some of those. But either way, I'm going to shoot for it, and I'm hoping that filming the process again helps get me back into the swing of things. But we'll see. It's currently 2:15. I'm going to get into it for a while, and I'm also going to put on Days Gone because the video is done exporting, and hopefully switching back and forth between the two keeps me awake long enough to get to the time that I normally go to sleep, and hopefully it also helps make some progress. But we will see, and I will see you guys for at least one more update before I go to bed. Or the couch, because that's where I'm sleeping. Alright, it is 3:13 in the morning, and I didn't get as far as I wanted to, obviously. I wrote 214 words, which means that I broke 4,000 words in Murder at the Fang Marina. I'm still getting used to these characters, I'm still getting to know these characters, so when I do manage to get around to it, not even counting just how slow things have been in general, things are slow, because I don't know a ton about them yet, so writing their interactions and their scenes is a bit like pulling teeth, and all of the dialogue is clunky and awkward, and all of their interactions are clunky and awkward, and they're probably going to be that way for a while. But I broke 4,000 words completely, and I wrote a little over 200, so that's something. I'm going to add those 214 words to my nano count, and then head to bed. I already brushed my teeth hours ago, when I stopped eating at midnight, and hopefully I'll sleep okay. Hopefully I won't sleep in forever, and then from there, later on in the morning when I wake up, afternoon, whatever, depends. The next book to work on is The Beheading of Glenn Daniels, which is Carver Baxter Book 6, which is hopefully the final book in that series. Things have been extra slow there, but I also have other things to do tomorrow. The kittens can get out of the pen now, or correction, Tuck can get out of the pen now, so I need to clean my room the rest of the way, which is going to be a long process because every time I do much at all, I get really, really dizzy and sick to my stomach, which I think is some lingering illness related to the 2-week headache that I had. I don't know if it's a lingering sinus issue, if it's something related to my joints, if it's something related to my thyroid, or if it's something related to the more obvious issue in the world right now. But either way, that's something I'm going to be doing for the majority of today, but I'm going to do my best to switch back and forth between that and writing, and hopefully accomplish something in both aspects without overworking myself to the point of exhaustion any further than I already am. So, hooray. But I'm going to put those 214 words into the Nano website. I'm going to save Days Gone and get off of that, and then put the PlayStation into rest mode so the Serial Killers Anonymous video can continue uploading while I sleep. But I will see you guys hopefully sometime in the morning. I'm going to put a reminder into my Google Calendar, so that way I actually remember to film. So that is the game plan, and I will see you guys at some point. Hopefully.
Wait for official instructions. Wait my ass.
Kill all sons of bitches. That's my official instructions.
This is what I'm going to do for a little bit today, and then I'm going to switch back and forth between writing and cleaning, so see you soon. Alright, it is 4:14 p.m. and I'm just getting into opening up my editing account on Google, so that way I can get into client edits for Gent, hopefully. I've been washing clothes. The first load is still washing at the moment. Sounds like it's draining though, hopefully, or approaching that state. But I'm finally getting into editing. I'm not 100% sure how much I'll get done. I'm not 100% sure how long I'll work on it, but it depends on how things go, and it depends on if I feel like the progress that I'm making is good progress. As it stands, 4:15 p.m., I need to wash Willie's dishes for the day, because he has the containers for his oatmeal that I can make in about an hour, a little less than an hour, about 45 minutes. But his bowls that the oatmeal and his soft food go in are all in the sink, so those all need to be washed. and I can't do that until the washing machine is done because he hates being in the laundry room when the washer is going. I don't blame him. It vibrates the floor and it vibrates his little trampoline bed. So I'm gonna sit in here and try to edit until the washer is done, and then I'll wash dishes, and then I'll probably make oatmeal, and then we'll go from there. But I'll check in with you guys at some point on how editing has gone, and as well as how the writing process that I do within those edits has gone. So I'll see you guys at some point. Alrighty, it is currently 4:06 p.m. on the 24th, but we're going to go ahead and talk about the 23rd. I updated you last before I got into editing, I think. So with that, yesterday I wrote 212 for the extra words that I add into Eden and the ones that I comment on the side. That is an estimate, by the way. I don't copy and paste those into a different document. I take the number of words that were in the chapter, I divide it by 4, and I use that as my number, but if it seems way too high, I lower it. But I write a lot of words when I leave comments, because when I leave a suggestion, I do my best to explain why I did that suggestion, and if the sentence that I'm suggesting or correcting on is correct, I make sure to note that in my comment, like, this is grammatically correct, but if you want to add an extra punch or drama or anything like that, you can do one of these. Here are some suggestions to get your gears turning. That kind of thing. So I do write a ton when I do that. And then I also wrote 368 words in The Beheading of Glenn Daniels, which is, again, the final book in the Carver Baxter series. And I edited one chapter of Eden, which was 848 words. And let me fix my equation here for the nano word count on my sheets. And I will tell you how many words I have written total. I don't have the number of words that I wrote yesterday. I'll get there eventually, but right now I don't have a section for that here on my sheets thing. So currently I should be at 17,296, which sounds correct. And then let me open up the Nano website and I will get you the word count total from yesterday. So somewhere I must have skipped something on my Google Sheets, not from yesterday. Yesterday I only have 3 entries here on Nano's website, which makes sense because I only worked on 3 things yesterday. But my Nano word count is at 17,814, and my Google Sheets is at 17,200 and something. I'm still adjusting to using Google Sheets instead of Write-O-Meter, so it makes sense that I would have skipped something at some point. So I'll go through that eventually and try to find what I missed. But yesterday, between Murder at the Fang Marina, Eden, and Carver Baxter, I wrote 794 words. So not nearly at all close to what I was aiming for, but that's okay. Sometimes that happens, and truthfully I spent most of yesterday dealing with issues with the kittens because I built a mini foyer thing in front of my door so I can open the door safely without worrying about them darting out and Roxy getting to them or anything like that. And then Tuck immediately hacked the system and found out how to get in there and pull it away from the wall, so I had to fix it with some Velcro and zip ties, and it's been a whole adventure. But hopefully today things will go better here on the 24th. Right now I'm playing Left 4 Dead. I'm on the final level of this campaign, so after that I'll exit out of Left 4 Dead and start a load of clothes, get my current clothes out of the dryer, and then hopefully get into writing. The next book to work on is... I gotta scroll through all of my sheets here. Hashtags and Homicide, which is book 2 of the Books and Badges romance series. So that will be the game plan, and I will keep you guys posted in the next video, probably. Yeah, that sounds right. But with that being said, for the 23rd, I'll go ahead and keep it into one video for now, and go from there. But for the 23rd, that's all that I have. If you guys enjoyed this video, a like is always appreciated. And if you'd like to stay updated on my writing, my editing, the gaming videos I upload roughly every Friday, or anything that I do on this channel in between, feel free to subscribe. All the links to my authors pages, as well as links to my social media, in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.